Good evening, everyone. If you could please take your seats, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Michael McNamee, and it is my honor to be the Director of Alumni and Friend Engagement here at UNC Asheville. And I just want to welcome you all. If you haven't already, go ahead and start eating. Let's go ahead and get this night started. And first and foremost, to all of our alums in the room, welcome home. We're so glad to have you back, and it is such a great honor to have both the Hall of Fame and the Alumni Awards here in the same room. We just really hope that you get a wonderful experience tonight. It's a privilege and honor to recognize some truly remarkable individuals, and I encourage you to take a moment to read your program about all of their accolades. I also want to recognize and thank the Alumni Association Board of Directors and the Bulldog Athletic Association for their thoughtful work in selecting this year's recipients. UNC Asheville is fortunate to have extraordinary alumni in our community, and I know you'll be impressed by the individuals that were chosen to be recognized tonight. To all the alumni in the room, let me just begin by saying we really are glad that you are here, and we hope that this still feels like home to you. For some of you, it may have been a long time since you have walked on campus, but I hope being here brings back meaningful memories of beautiful times with friends and colleagues and a deep sense of connection. And while the university may look different than it once did, I hope you still feel the soul of UNC Asheville whenever you are on campus. We want this institution to continue to be a place you are proud of, and we want you to know how proud we are of you. And tonight, we have the opportunity to celebrate individual accomplishments, but also celebrate the lasting impact of this institution, and also what it can do to make possible in the lives of its graduates. To our honorees, congratulations on your well-deserved awards, and we're grateful for the example that you set, and we're proud to recognize you this evening. Now, I have the distinct honor of introducing our fearless leader. Chancellor Kimberly Van Noort has served campus since the fall of 2022, and she is our 9th chancellor named in 2023. And during her tenure year, she's already achieved success in enrollment, record fundraising, and is creating a bold new vision for the future of our university. Please welcome Chancellor Van Noort.
Wow, he's tall. Good evening, everybody, and happy homecoming. This is one of my favorite nights of the entire year, and it's such a joy to look across the room and see familiar faces, new friends, so many generations of Bulldogs, and so many stories that began right here on campus. Whether you graduated 5 years ago or 50, you are an essential part of this university's living history. Tonight is about celebrating you, your accomplishments, your service, and the impact you continue to make in our communities and around the world. I want to begin by congratulating our honorees. This evening, we recognize 6 outstanding recipients of our Alumni Association awards and welcome 2 extraordinary individuals into our Hall of Fame. These awards represent excellence across professions, service, leadership, and lifelong commitment to this university. Each of you embodies the very best of what it means to be a member of our community. Your achievements inspire our current students, strengthen our reputation, and remind us why this place matters so deeply. We're especially excited tonight because we're honoring not just individual accomplishments, but the many ways our students and community and alumni contribute to the cultural and intellectual vibrancy of this institution. Our alumni are educators, shaping young minds, artists, enriching our cultural landscape, entrepreneurs who are driving innovation, scientists pushing boundaries, and public servants strengthening civic life. You carry forward the values of curiosity, integrity, creativity, and service that define this university. And I want you to know your alma mater is thriving. This is an exciting time on campus. We've had a few bumps, a big one last year, but we are doing better and we are stronger and better than before. We're in the midst of Vision 2030, which is an ambitious visioning process designed to position our university boldly and strategically for the future. As part of that work, we are launching multiple emerging and future-facing academic programs that respond to workforce needs and global challenges. Programs that equip our students not just for their first job, but for a lifetime of meaningful contribution. These initiatives reflect our commitment to innovation while still remaining grounded in who we are. At the same time, we are investing deeply in technology-supported learning, expanding digital tools, enhancing hybrid and online opportunities, and ensuring that our students are fluent in the technology shaping their professions. But even as we embrace new tools and new methods, we remain steadfast in our strong foundation in the liberal arts. The liberal arts are not a relic of the past. They are the foundation of the future. Critical thinking, ethical reasoning, communication, creative problem solving. These are the skills that will allow our graduates to adapt, lead, and thrive in a complex world. Our commitment to this experience continues to be the heart of the UNC Asheville experience. We're also proud of our work to expand access and opportunity. Through Access Asheville, we are opening doors wider than ever before. This admissions program offers free tuition for families earning under $90,000. It is a powerful statement about who we are and what we believe. That talent is everywhere, and opportunity should be too. Programs like this ensure that the transformative experience you had here remains within reach for the next generation. And across campus, you'll see visible signs of growth and renewal. A refreshed Kimmel Arena, the Jeff Fox hitting facility, the Sherry and Ron McDaniels indoor golf facility, and many more. And coming soon, the revitalization of Lipinski Hall as a premier performing arts venue that will underscore our commitment to the arts as a vital part of the campus and community life. A new and accessible entrance to Ramsey Library that will provide new gathering and event spaces on the quad. And keep an eye out for new signage at our main campus entrances. These capital projects are more than buildings and brick and mortar. They are investments in our students' experience and in the vibrancy of our region. And as we look ahead, we're preparing for a truly historic milestone, our centennial in 2027. 100 years of educating leaders, thinkers, creators, and change makers. Over the coming months and years, we will host events, programs, and celebrations that honor our past while boldly imagining the next 100 years. The centennial is not just a celebration, it's an invitation to reconnect, re-engage, and help shape what comes next. Because the future of this university is not built by administrators alone. It is built by all of us, students, faculty, staff, and especially alumni. You are mentors, you have been ambassadors for our university, investors in the success of the next generation, and your engagement, your time, your wisdom, and your advocacy make a profound difference. Tonight, as we honor the award recipients and Hall of Fame inductees, let us also celebrate the enduring bond that ties us together. The classrooms look different. The campus will continue to evolve. But the spirit of this place, its commitment to inquiry, creativity, and community remains as strong as ever. To our honorees, thank you for the example that you set. To our alumni, thank you for carrying this university's values out into the world. And to everyone here tonight, thank you for coming home and being part of our story. Congratulations, and go Bulldogs.
Thank you, Chancellor Van Noort. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome UNC Asheville's Director of Athletics, Janet Cohn, to the stage. Janet has served in this role since 2004 and has been consistently identified as a national leader in athletics and student-athlete development. She has served on the NCAA Division I Men's March Madness Basketball Committee, chair of the Buncombe Regional Sports Commission, and Under Armour AD of the Year in 2013. Under her leadership, several student-athletes have earned recognition as All-Americans, and Bulldog teams have over 30 Big South Conference championships. 30. I want to also note that Janet pushes her student athletes to excel both on and off the field, and student athletes have consistently high GPAs and graduation rates. She's currently spearheading the More Wins, More Friends, More Resources strategic plan, outlining key areas of focus and growth in the department's most valuable resource, its student athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Cohen.
Also very tall. Thank you, Michael. Speaking of student athletes, and before I do my part here, I have two special guests because I always want to take advantage of learning opportunities. And if Valerie and Leonard, would you stand up? Two of our student athletes, and they're here for a reason. One, because both of them have aspirations to go into athletic administration. I said, what a great, you come over tonight, see a Hall of Fame alumni. So thank you two for being here. Two of our best and our brightest of our 300 student athletes. So thank you for coming tonight. I want to say tonight, too, Chancellor, what a great kickoff for us right there of all the things that we're doing under your leadership. So thank you. Number one Bulldog. You know, my opportunity right now, too, is to thank someone else. We have, if you haven't noticed, we have a new logo. And as tomorrow, as you're wandering around and you're seeing the new banners up and you go into the Kimmel Arena, Sherrill Center, or out at baseball, you see the new Bulldog head. We were thrilled that Alpha Graphics of Charlotte not only helped us with that project, but they chose to be the sponsor of our Hall of Fame this year. And we have with us, if you want to start making your way this up here, please. Tonight, I would like, if you would help me to thank not only Alpha Graphics of Charlotte, but David Ashler, who is a project development for them. He's going to say a few words.
We've got a lot of height changes here. Thank you, Janet. As Janet said, my name is Davis Apsher with Alpha Graphics CLT. We're incredibly proud to serve as a sponsor of this event that celebrates the history, tradition, and excellence of UNC Asheville athletics. Nights like this are special because they remind us that success isn't just about the wins and championships. It's measured in the people, the relationships, and the legacy that has continued long after the final game. At Alpha Graphics, we believe in bringing stories to life, and tonight we get to celebrate some of the greatest stories in UNC Asheville athletics. Stories built on hard work, leadership, resilience, and pride in wearing that Bulldog uniform. Thank you to the athletic department for allowing us to be a part of this incredible evening. And thank you to everyone here for supporting and honoring the legacy of UNC Asheville athletics. Congratulations to the inductees and award winners tonight, and go Bulldogs. Thank you.
All right, I like that Go Bulldogs, Chancellor. We're winning over friends, you know, definitely. I also want to take a moment to thank the selection committee for the Athletics Hall of Fame. And although he couldn't be here tonight, if many of you know, Mike Gore started this Hall of Fame. And we have our committee, I know Merritt's here and Betsy, and raise your hand if you're on the selection committee. Yeah, thank you. We got everybody in here. Darlene, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, okay? You're very, you did a great job again this year. We also have several members of our Hall of Fame. Would you please stand up so that we can recognize if you are a member of the Athletics Hall of Fame? We got Bamford Jones, we've got Betsy Blows, Ulrich Dietrichs, Eddie Beatenbach. So thank you so much. Before we turn to recognizing this year's honorees, I got to say something here. You know, I've been here a long time, and there's 3 people in here that's probably helped me keep my job, and their names are Eddie Beatenbach, Nick McDevitt, and Mike Morrell, 3 of the best men's basketball coaches in the country. Yes, and we have been fortunate to have them as part of the Bulldog athletic family for a long time, and we have won many championships because of these 3 men. The other thing I want to say about them, too, is they really care about the student athletes. And in this crazy world we're in right now, we're very fortunate because, as we know, men's basketball is a high-profile sport. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate all of you. Turning to tonight's award winner, though, this one here's a little special one for so many reasons. Nick McDevitt, if you will come on up here. Nick McDevitt, a former men's basketball player here at UNC Asheville, a true scholar athlete, by the way, who worked for Eddie after he graduated and stayed with Eddie throughout this, worked his way up to, time to get another coach, and he earned this role. And it's just been amazing. I'm gonna do an Eddie Binkbach in a minute and tell some stories because this is too good to miss. But here to introduce Nick in a tape video, it's a collection of messages from Coach B, family and friends. So let's watch this.
Nick, congratulations on being inducted into the UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to Nick, fellow coach, and one of my best friends.
Coach McDevitt, congratulations on your induction into the UNC Asheville Hall of Fame.
There are moments and decisions that have a lasting impact on your life, and I can't help to think about the impact your decision to go play at Asheville had not only on your life, but the butterfly effect it had on mine. I went to school at Asheville, get to do what I do every day, and am even marrying who I am because of that decision.
Nick was my first recruit upon taking the head coaching job at UNCA. Usually the best player on the team was either the leading scorer or the best defensive player. But for 4 years, whether on or off the court, Nick McDevitt's leadership was absolutely pivotal in our school's successes.
Of all the memories with this program that I've either witnessed or been a part of, one stands out. After we won the Big South tournament, you and I had a moment in the locker room where you took a deep breath and said our grandmother, Nanny as we called her, would be so proud. Well, you were right that day, and I'm sure she is proud of the husband, father, mentor, and coach you have became. But with how much this program means to our family, she is probably most proud of this. Thank you for all the time and effort you've poured into this university, the countless guys from across the world, and especially into me.
When he graduated, I hired Nick as an assistant coach. He knew our system inside and out because he was a player. And I knew he'd be a great recruiter and coach once he got experience in a network of coaches who respected him. Nick has proven to be just that, first at Asheville and then at Middle Tennessee State.
For you to be in this moment tonight, celebrating a Hall of Fame induction with your family and your wife and your kids, I'm so happy for you. I remember you telling me it must have been in 2005 or 6. I just want to be able to. You were wanting more responsibility, and you said, I just wanted to be able to be a recruiting coordinator here at UNC Asheville. I think I can do a really good job. And you did more than a good job. You became the recruiting coordinator, you became the head coach, and you did more than a good job because now you are a Hall of Famer. So congratulations, super proud of you, and happy to know you and call you friend, more importantly.
Congratulations to Nick McDevitt on his well-deserved induction into the Asheville Sports Hall of Fame.
This recognition is so well deserved, and I'm thankful to have been a small part of it. I love you, and congratulations again.
Most people know our dad as the men's basketball coach at UNC Asheville and MTSU.
But we know him as a dad who lets us be him and Becky and who always gives us the best hugs.
During his career, he's taught his players to work hard, believe in themselves, and be great teammates.
At home, he taught us to never give up and always be supportive to each other.
He's been there for big wins,
and he always has been there for us.
We're so proud of you, Dad. We love you.
Watching this honor, I see what many people don't. I see the long nights, the early mornings, and the heart he pours into his players and this game. But more than anything, I see the husband and the father who always puts his family first. Basketball has been more than a job. It's been a home for our family. This Hall of Fame induction is so well deserved. We are incredibly proud of you and are so grateful to share this moment with you. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. We couldn't be prouder to call you husband, dad, and our coach.
Wow. Chancellor Van North, Chancellor, if you'll come up here, and if Nick will come up on the stage, and Chancellor will get your, yeah, come on up. Y'all are in the middle right now, and Chancellor, we have the plaque and everything over there. Nick devoted more than 2 decades to the UNC Asheville men's basketball program, serving Bulldogs with distinction as a student athlete, assistant coach, associate head coach, and head coach from 1997 to 2018. He was a 4-year letterman for the Bulldogs and a member of the 1998 Big South regular season championship team. Following his graduation in 2001, he joined Eddie's coaching staff and who is also a Hall of Fame member. Over 12 seasons as an assistant and associate head coach, Nick helped lead Asheville to 3 Big South tournament championships and 3 NCAA tournament appearances. Nick succeeded Eddie as our head coach in 2013, continued the program's tradition of excellence. Under his leadership, the Bulldogs won the 2016 Big South Tournament Championship and advanced to the NCAA tournament, where we faced eventual tournament champion Villanova. The Bulldogs also secured Big South regular season titles in 2017 and 2018. In 2017, Nick was named the Big South Coach of the Year. Please help us give a big Bulldog welcome to the newest member of the UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame, Nick McDevitt.
There have been some height changes. My goodness, after those videos, they were going to have to stop pretty soon, or I was going to be a crying mess up here for my remarks. And similar to Coach Biedenbach, I'm going to have to get my glasses out. Well, good evening. Thank you so much. And I do want to begin by saying thank you to the UNC Asheville Sports Hall of Fame Committee, to everyone that made this night possible, and to UNC Asheville, the institution, and this community that has meant so much to me and my family. To be standing here tonight in front of you is somewhat surreal. You know, I grew up right down the road in Madison County, so UNC Asheville was familiar. It was close, and it was home even before I arrived here as a student athlete in 1997. For those of you that don't know, my father is also a grad of UNC Asheville. My uncle is also a grad of UNC Asheville. Tyler, the young man you saw in the video, my sister, grads of UNC Asheville. My grandfather helped put the original plumbing in the Governor's Village dorms. So you kind of get the point. This has been home for me and my family for a long time, and I could only have dreamed of a day like this to be inducted into the Hall of Fame here at UNC Asheville. But what makes tonight special isn't the recognition, it's the people. It's the people in this room, and it's always been that way here at this institution and this community. This community helped raise me. It shaped me into, from a young man into a grown man. It helped teach me the lessons of humility, of toughness and responsibility. But it gave me an opportunity, not just to play, but to grow. So to my parents, thank you. I'll pretend that it's because of that. Thank you. Everything I am started with you. You taught me the values of hard work, of treating people the right way, of leaving things better than you found them. You didn't just raise me to chase success, but you raised me to earn respect. And that lesson has stayed with me every single day. To my sister, my only sibling, you've been there through every chapter of this journey, from cheering for me as a player to supporting me through my coaching career. You've always been there. Your quiet strength, sometimes your loud strength, your encouragement has always meant a lot, and having you here tonight means a lot and makes this night even more special. To my teammates, my brothers, none of the banners, none of the championships, none of the postseason experiences and appearances would have happened without what we had in that locker room, without shared belief, without the commitment to each other. We didn't just win games, we built relationships that have lasted a lifetime. And I want to thank every student athlete who wore the uniform during my time as head coach here at UNC Asheville. You trusted me. You believed in me. You committed yourselves to something bigger than yourselves and represented this university with pride. You sacrificed time, comfort, and the certainty in pursuit of growth and excellence. You also allowed me to be a part of your journey, and in doing so, you helped give my life purpose. Coaching you was never a job. It was a privilege, and the impact you've had on my life goes far beyond basketball. I also want to recognize a man who you've seen in the video who helped change the trajectory of my life, my head coach, Eddie Biedenbach. Coach Biedenbach, he gave me a chance when he offered me a chance to play here and the opportunity to play here at UNC Asheville. He later gave me another chance when he helped and invited me to begin my coaching career as an assistant coach. He mentored me, he believed in me, and he supported me in ways that can never be repaid. Coach, thank you. Thank you for believing in me. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to Janet Cohn. Janet, you entrusted me with my first opportunity to become a head coach. You believed in me and gave me the responsibility to lead this program. That trust changed my life. Your leadership and your confidence in me will always be something I carry with deep appreciation. I spent 21 years here as a player, assistant, and a head coach. I will never forget those moments, never forget the championships, the postseason runs. But what I cherish the most when I look back on my experience here aren't the wins. It's the people in the stands, the people in this room, the relationships in the locker room, and the pride of representing this university in this city. This place gave me, a kid from down the road, a chance. And that chance became a life. To my wife, Lauren, who you've also met and seen on the video. It's a great surprise, by the way. You've been with me through the early days, the long nights, the tough losses, the moments of doubt. You've shared in the joy, the growth, and the purpose of this profession. Thank you for believing in me, for supporting me, and for being the foundation of our family. And to our kids, Cooper and Katie. Nice wave, Coop. To our kids, Cooper and Katie, I hope that one day that you understand that this isn't about basketball. It's about commitment. It's about perseverance. It's about pouring yourself into something bigger than yourself. I hope that you see that success isn't defined by a recognition like this. It's defined by the lives you impact and the way you treat other people. This university gave me an opportunity not once, but over and over again. It allowed me to grow from a player into a coach, from a young man into a husband and a father and a leader. And even today, as I serve as the head coach at Middle Tennessee State, so much of who I am, both as a coach and as a man, was shaped right here. This place taught me about leadership. It taught me that success is shared. And it taught me that legacy isn't what you accomplish, it's what you give. I also want to offer an apology. I do have to leave somewhat a bit early tonight. Our team, as Coach Morrell can tell you, all the conference games, they're important. And as Coach Biedenbach used to always say, they're twice as important as all the other ones. And they are. And we have a big game tomorrow afternoon. And I need to return to Murfreesboro to fulfill my responsibility to the young man there. But please know that leaving early in no way reflects the significance of this honor. In fact, I would say it reflects one of the greatest lessons this place has taught me, that when people entrust in you with responsibility, you earn and honor that trust fully. I accept this honor tonight with deep gratitude, humility, because I know it doesn't just belong to me. It belongs to my family, it belongs to my teammates, it belongs to my former players, it belongs to my mentors, and it belongs to this community. This will always be home. This will always be home. It once gave me a uniform, then it gave me a whistle, and now it gave me a life. Thank you.
Whoa, that's what it's all about. Hey, I am going to take a minute before I introduce. Something Nick didn't tell you, that besides us, all the great, how Eddie helped him in his career. I remember one day telling Nick, there's this really nice person working at the Big South. I think you should start dating her. So I want to have some credit for Lauren Cooper and Nick's. And I actually remember the day that he came in and told me he had proposed to. Yeah, it was really, really special. And Nick, I'm personally really proud of you. You really, and your family, and what UNC Asheville has done. We are all very proud of you. That's why we do what we do, sincerely. And thank you, because I know it's hard for a basketball coach to get away like this. And when you said you're coming no matter what, and a little thank you to Mike Matthews too for his playing. There you go. Wow, and that was our first honoree, so hold your seats. We still got some more tonight that are going to be unbelievable. Our next Hall of Fame member that we're going to introduce also has a remarkable story that is just unbelievable. Sarah Gentry, if you want to go ahead and start coming up here so people can see you. Sarah Gentry enjoyed one of the most accomplished track and field careers in UNC Asheville. And by the way, she did most of this when we did not actually have a real track like we do now. A six-time, let me say this again, six-time Big South Conference champion. She excelled in the middle distance events throughout her Bulldog tenure. She captured Big South titles in the 800 meters twice during the indoor season and twice during the outdoor season. She was also a member of the 2 championship relay teams, winning conference titles as part of the outdoor 1,500 meter relay and the indoor distance medley relay 800 relay. She concluded her career with 4 school records with 2 indoor and outdoor 800 meters, still standing for more than a decade after her graduation. She was named the 2013 UNC Asheville Female Athlete of the Year. She excelled in the classroom, graduating cum laude with honors and distinction in international studies, volunteered in the community, a true scholar athlete, and as I've told you over and over, a champion in athletics, and now a leader in life. Sarah, welcome to the Hall of Fame, and you're going to, I think we got another video here. So let's do it. We'll let you see it.
Sarah, congratulations on being inducted into the UNC Asheville Hall of Fame. What an accomplishment. It is so well deserved. I'm super excited for you.
I'm over the moon, just incredibly excited for you and this honor that you've received. Being inducted into a Hall of Fame is something that's always pretty cool and pretty neat. It's reserved for the best of the best, and I feel like you were definitely one of the best that we've ever had at UNC Asheville.
We were on the same recruiting visit all the way back in 2009. Gosh, we're old. That's crazy. And it was really cool for me to watch you move from sprinting into middle distance.
I remember you giving Adam the business on some workouts and stuff, and him coming in and after doing some workouts, because you were the best that we had and didn't have anybody that could keep up with you, and so he kind of offered to go out there and help push you along with some workouts, and you wore him out. It was pretty funny.
I think most runners who have run that event know that the 800 has got to be the hardest event. So for someone to take up the challenge and move from sprinting to middle distance, specifically the 800, and not only move to that distance, but just absolutely dominate in the Big South Conference, it really impacted me.
Being somebody that's like a 200, 400 kid out of high school and making a move all the way up by the time you're a senior to a 1500 and winning a conference championship and setting the school record at the time, I believe it was, for the 1500, was just pretty cool experience. Kind of see you grow from where you were at your freshman year to where you were at by the time you graduated. It was just an incredible experience.
The 800 was not my event, but I wanted to be like Sarah Gentry, so congratulations, really well deserved. I'm so happy for you, and go Bulldogs!
You've been the standard bearer for a lot of athletes that's followed after you. Even athletes at my new school, I still compare them against you. You're just somebody that I'm always going to compare athletes against you. You're the measuring stick. Soak it up tonight. Tonight's about you, about everything that you've done, and your journey along the way. I'm just glad to have been a very small piece of that.
So proud of you, Sarah, for making the Hall of Fame. As a staff, all of us during your time here were so proud of what you were able to accomplish, not only on the track, but off the track. Academically, you were a stellar student. You're a wonderful leader for us, and you have every right to be in this Hall of Fame. And I know during your last year here at UNC Asheville, you and I got to be training partners together, and through my entire career as a runner, you were probably, if not the most competitive person I ever trained with. Some of my favorite memories are you putting me through the hardest workouts ever. The 300, 350, the 250, the 200 workout where I had to go lay down in the locker room afterwards and rest for half an hour, and you got through it with a breeze. But one of my favorite memories, and I think this is because I was a 1500 meter runner, is that when you came up to me at the conference championships at Liberty and you were hesitant about being able to win that race, and I told you, I know that there's not another woman in this competition that could be able to train with me, and all you have to do is to be there with a lap to go, and you're going to take care of the rest of it. And to be able to watch you do that was a special moment for me as a coach, as well as a training partner. And I know Coach Joel can't be with us here now, but I know how proud he is of you as a runner, as a student. We talked about you all the time and all the things that we did together as a team. So we're all proud of you. Thanks, Sarah.
Sarah would come on up, and the Chancellor, if you would help us, please welcome Sarah Gentry to the 2026 Bulldog Athletics Hall of Fame. You're up.
Oh my goodness, to have to follow Coach McDevitt's rousing speech, you can understand why they won those basketball games. I'm ready to go out and play right now. Thank you, first of all, to all of the coaches that I had at my time at UNC Asheville. When Coach Joel reached out to me in the fall about inducting me into the Hall of Fame, I was so surprised and honored, and I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't have been as successful as I was in track and field if not for my coaches, and especially if not for Joel Williams. Many of you may have heard he is no longer with us. Earlier this month, he passed. We certainly feel that absence tonight. But thank you very much to Coach Pewitt, Coach Norman. It's very exciting to be back on campus at UNC Asheville. I know that I can say my time as a track and field athlete at UNCA prepared me for success later in life. I remember early in my career when I was going to some of those very first interviews, thinking to myself, you know what? This isn't going to be as hard as that last 200 meters of the 800. That burning pain in your chest, the heaviness in your legs coming down that home stretch, it's not going to be that hard. And being able to deal with that sort of pressure that I learned in my time as a track athlete has really carried me forward into those leadership presentations that I have to do in my job on a daily basis. Being able to deal with that, deal with the adrenaline that you get, being able to speak in front of a bunch of people, just knowing what that feels like and knowing how to manage that has really allowed me to be successful. So I certainly credit my time at UNC Asheville and as a student athlete with helping me to continue later on in life and continue to carry that success, even from a physical perspective through childbirth. So you really learn resilience and grit as a student athlete, and UNC Asheville is such a special, special university. And thank you very much to the athletic director, Janet Cohn, and everyone here that is honoring me tonight. It's a huge, huge honor. Thank you very much.
All right, boy, Sarah, another one of our wonderful scholar athletes. I want to shout out to, we've got Adam and Jesse. I know you're busy because you're over there at one of our sister schools now. We won't hold that against you. And Neil, our assistant coach, thank you for being here. Our coaches bring some of the best student athletes. Remember, it starts with them recruiting. So I want us always to be appreciative of the great job that our coaches do recruiting great student athletes. Sarah, as I said to Nick, I am so proud of you. We really mean that when we are trying to get student athletes who are champions and leaders, and you definitely are. And I know for a fact, if Coach Joel was here, he'd be so proud of you. So on behalf of our entire track program, congratulations. We really, both Nick and Sarah are just two of the best. I now have the honor of turning the program over to the chair of the alumni, Cindy. I think you're coming up here next. So I am turning this over to Cindy Appleby, chair of the Alumni Association. They've had a busy day too.
I feel like it's time for like the seventh inning stretch, right? And another height change. All right. As Janet said, my name is Cindy Appleby, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the UNC Asheville Alumni Board. Our community has over 26,000 alumni, all of whom carry with them the memories of this transformational institution. We have some extraordinary people to celebrate tonight, and we will begin with the Alumni Association honorees. I must note that our awards that our awardees are getting are one-of-a-kind pieces of pottery made right here by our students, meant to reflect the unique spirit of UNC Asheville and its alumni. We will also be doing video introductions featuring the awardees, nominators, friends, and colleagues. Our first award is the Pisgah Award for Outstanding Career Achievement. It is named in homage to Mount Pisgah, a beloved campus landmark, and recognizes alumni for outstanding achievement in their professional fields. This year's honoree is Megan Spencer, class of 2003. Introducing Megan via video is Merritt Mosley and Kelly Pierce.
On behalf of the UNCA Alumni Association, I am pleased to recognize Megan Spencer as this year's recipient of the Pisgah Award for Outstanding Career Achievement. We chose Megan for this award in recognition of her work in the advancement of medical technology. She holds multiple patents across a variety of fields. She credits her UNCA professors in the chemistry department with encouraging her and believing in her.
I'm very glad that Megan Spencer is receiving an alumni award tonight. I met her in 2000 when she joined our Summer at Oxford Study Abroad program and formed the opinion then that she was not only smart, but she was interesting, and she was characterized by what Einstein called a holy curiosity. After graduation, she went to Stanford, earned a PhD, and then became a sort of a self-taught mechanical engineer. She worked on the team that created the Apple Watch, and she invented and patented a number of devices, some of which, or many of which, I think, are designed to improve health for her fellow human beings.
In addition to her important work at startup Avenger, followed by her work at Whipsaw and Nike before joining Apple in 2014, Megan has a passion for helping students learn about and find careers in STEM, especially women. She encourages students to be kind and nurturing in their relationships going forward and to value surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you so that you continue learning.
She's still characterized by that holy curiosity. She's still interesting. She's obviously still smart. And I would say that in every way I can think of, Megan is the kind of student and the kind of alumna that UNCA must always be proud of. And that's why I congratulate her on this award.
Congratulations, Megan.
Yeah. So Megan Spencer is an outstanding scientist and engineer on Apple's health hardware product design team, developing cutting-edge technologies that advance health and well-being. Her interdisciplinary career, which began with a chemistry degree at UNC Asheville and includes a PhD from Stanford, reflects excellence in innovation, leadership, and impact. Please join me in congratulating Megan Spencer. Yeah.
I don't know why I have to follow all of the athletes who are so eloquent. As a scientist and engineer, I think I would feel much more comfortable if I was presenting a slide worth of data. So you'll have to excuse me. I came here almost 30 years ago from coastal North Carolina. My family was incredibly supportive, always told me I could do whatever I want. So I came here thinking I would pursue music and mechatronics. And at the time, the mechatronics course was just starting to develop. I was not a good high school student. I think I was on the cusp for SAT and GPA, so thank you for letting me through. I felt very lucky to get into the university here and took it really seriously. What really surprised me about this university is the teachers, and continues to amaze me. Not only did I take my regular coursework, but I also got to take some really interesting courses that made me realize that the teachers here get to play too, not just the students. I took, obviously, things like physical chemistry and organic chemistry that I had to take for my degree, but I also took black hole theory, music theory, jazz courses. I learned how to make ceramics and sat on the top of the Anagama at midnight when it was snowing, waiting for my pots to come out of the kiln. That experience for me taught me a lot of that curiosity and creativity that I didn't realize that I was capable of. and is something that feels like very UNCA to me. It's a UNCA mix that I have not seen replicated in any of the other universities I've visited or talked to, or in any of the other students that I've met. One of the things that's really special about this university is the professors, obviously. I have to say a big thank you to Bert Holmes, who's not here tonight. He was the chair of the chemistry department when I joined. He took his students so seriously, and it was one of the first professors that made me feel as though my opinion mattered versus just did I get the right answer on the exam. And that's something that's really carried with me to today. He blew his own glassware for his chemistry lab and would turn on the Grateful Dead and stomp around in the lab. And it was such an intense curiosity for something that was incredibly detailed and technical, where we were using quantum theory to try and understand atmospheric chemistry. And that made me feel like I had permission to do the same for things that I was interested in. He also, when I was finishing up, and said, I think I want to be an astronaut. And I think the easiest way is for me to get a PhD. That he said I needed to apply to the top 5 universities in the country. Now, coming from UNC Asheville, there were 12 students in the chemistry department graduating that year. How was I supposed to know what I would be competitive for? I laughed at him. He took me in the office, rolled out a map of the San Francisco Bay Area, pointed at Stanford, and then started recommending to me which neighborhoods I should live in after I get into the university. And that's when I realized that he was dead serious. And obviously, I ended up going to the university and making a career out of that. So a big thank you to him for really believing in me and setting the bar high. Obviously, Merritt Moseley was also a big impact on me, but in a different way, much to the chagrin of Bert Holmes. I did not do summer research one year and instead went and studied Shakespeare with Merritt Moseley at Oxford. I don't remember what gave me that itch, but I think a lot of it was this program that he created that allowed students to go and explore different things in different places. And this university allowed me to do that. Even though I was doing a serious scientific degree, I was still allowed to take the time to go and explore different spaces. So now I work in product design at Apple, and a lot of that, it's less about the deep technical experience. Obviously, that's an important piece, but one of the most important things is asking questions to understand, learning things very quickly. I walk into a room every day and have to learn something new and then make decisions with that information by learning from the people around me. And then trying and failing spectacularly as fast as I can to figure out what is the better solution. I don't think I would have had the confidence to do that if I hadn't come to school here and had professors that made me feel like they didn't know the answers and we should find them together. So I'm very grateful for the university for that. I had the joy to meet students over lunch today. I don't know if any of them are here. Students are so important to me, so I still try to connect with them as much as possible, and it makes me realize how lucky I am to do what I do. So thank you for that opportunity. And I will say, if there's any students here, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that you probably don't know now what are the most important parts of your experience today. That'll come later. So, keep putting your head down, doing the thing that you're doing, and later on you'll maybe be up here talking about the things that really made a difference to you, or the things that people said to you that you will not forget that really changed your life. So thank you, everybody, for recognizing me with this award. I'm deeply humbled. And congratulations to all of the other award winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. It is my honor to next present the Thomas D. Reynolds Alumni Award for Service to the University. This award recognizes an alumnus for exemplary service to UNC Asheville. It is named in honor of Thomas D. Reynolds, who spent 60 years as one of the university's strongest promoters and most active volunteers. This year, we are proud to honor Sarah Sanders, class of 2011. Introducing Sarah via video is Amanda Simmons and Michael McNamee.
I'd like to say a huge congratulations to Sarah Sanders for winning the Reynolds Award for service to the university. I've had the pleasure of working with Sarah for many years, and I just want to say that I so appreciate her and her ability to use liberal arts principles in a practical and wonderfully creative way.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and Sarah Sanders is my director at STEAM Studio. My job at STEAM is to run Skillset, which is our community outreach program. This is a program that Sarah founded in 2018, and we teach science, technology, engineering, art, and math to students who are under the age of 18, both at STEAM Studio and around Western North Carolina. We have grown exponentially in such a short time to serve more and more students.
She embodies critical thinking, creativity, and a hands-on approach to how we can use the UNC education to solve real-world problems.
And Sarah was instrumental not only in this program's beginnings, but she's also a person who continues to challenge us to grow and thrive in the work that we're doing. She's the type of person who's always looking for the next thing. She's always pursuing, always searching, always putting in time and effort to help us grow in what we do and who we reach.
I also just want to say I really appreciate her ability to connect with the community, have all these wonderful collaborations, including the Wake sculpture and the Arboretum winter lights, and even helping with the Hurricane Helene recovery and processing the wood. All that just means so much to the broader community, and it's a shining example of UNCA's place in it too. So congratulations to Sarah, well-deserved award.
UNCA is lucky to have Sarah as an employee and also as an alumni, and this community here is lucky because of how many lives we've been able to change through our work at the studio, but most importantly, her vision that helps us to keep moving forward. So congratulations, Sarah.
As director of the STEAM studio at UNC Asheville, Sarah has built an innovative, collaborative environment that always brings together engineering, art, design in ways that profoundly enrich learning. Through community partnerships, transformative student opportunities, and creative programming, her dedication and strength to the university's commitment to experiential and interdisciplinary education. Please join me in again congratulating Sarah Sanders.
Thank you, and thanks, Michael and Amanda. Amanda's currently wrapping up programming right now with the kids for our Friday after school. So I want to tell you a little bit about my pathway to UNCA and to where I am now. I came to UNCA as a non-traditional student. I first went to Warren Wilson College right out of high school with the intention of studying art and outdoor leadership. For a multitude of reasons, I dropped out after a semester. I got really into racing downhill mountain biking and got curious about how bikes were made. So I enrolled in the welding program at AB Tech. I made it through a semester and a half before realizing I didn't want to weld for 8 hours a day. Not that there's anything wrong with it, I was just a little bored. So I pivoted and started taking general education classes at AB Tech with the goal of becoming an art teacher. In my first semester, I took conceptual physics and college algebra, and to my surprise, I discovered that I love math and physics. I took every math and physics class offered at AB Tech, and while waiting for an advising appointment in the AB Tech Transfer Center to figure out my next steps, I saw a poster for the mechatronics program at UNC Asheville, which Megan mentioned earlier. If you aren't familiar with the mechatronics program, it's a joint degree between UNCA and NC State, but all 4 years happen here. And the curriculum is a combination of mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering. It's essentially robotics. And engineering was appealing to me because it felt like a way to blend my interest in math and physics with my need for creativity and hands-on work. But I had zero experience with electronics or computer programming, and I was a bit intimidated by it. I decided to enroll in the program anyway, thinking that worst case scenario, I would again pivot and do something else. As a side note, I now know this is called iterating, and it's a core concept we like to teach our students. As long as you keep going and following your curiosity, it's not failure, it's iterating. So I started the engineering program for my 4th iteration of undergrad, and after my first circuits class, my mind was blown wide open. Here's this critical piece of infrastructure that we rely on every day, and it was a complete mystery to me until this class. So in the house I was living in at the time, there was a broken outlet. It had been unusable since I had moved into this house. And armed with this new knowledge that I had from the circuits class, I went out and I bought a new outlet, and in 20 minutes I replaced it and it worked. And yes, that was risky and generally not advisable. You should always have a licensed electrician perform electrical work because it can be dangerous if you don't understand how it works. But that single act of taking new knowledge and applying it to a real world problem that directly impacted my lived experience was transformative for me. It was incredibly empowering, both literally and figuratively. And in many ways, I've been chasing that feeling ever since, and trying to create similar experiences for students across the spectrum of ages and disciplines. Of course, always emphasizing safety and safe practices. So a big part of any engineering program is the Senior Design Capstone course, where students apply their theoretical knowledge to solve real problems, so the bigger version of my outlet experience. For my project, I collaborated with sculpture students and faculty to make this inverted merry-go-round that generated electricity to power an interactive LED lighting array. The intent of the project was to use playground equipment to teach kids how electricity works. So from that changing an outlet in my first year to collaboratively designing and fabricating a large-scale interactive public artwork in my senior year, my experience at UNCA laid the foundation for all of the work we've accomplished over the 9 years at STEAM Studio. None of which would have been possible without the incredible folks who co-founded the studio and those who keep it running, providing high-impact programming to both UNCA students and the broader and Western North Carolina community. So I want to give a big thanks to the collaborative co-founding team of STEAM Studio, who is myself, Susan Reeser, and Rebecca Bruce from the engineering side, Jackson Martin, Brent Skidmore, and Matt West from the sculpture side. We came together and created this studio, and now we have the most incredible team of folks running it day to day. And that's Leslie Rosenberg, our studio technician, Dr. Jacob Mish, our STEAM studio and performing arts technician, Chaz Llewellyn, our design specialist, Dave Misson, our sawmill coordinator, Cynthia Fountain, our administrative assistant, Amanda Simons, our skill set coordinator, Amber King, our offsite skill set coordinator, and Jeannie Regan, our skill set co-founder and current instructor. And finally, I want to thank the UNCA community for supporting this work and from allowing us to take something with a staff of 0 of just volunteer collaborators to our current team of 7 incredible people, and for supporting this continued work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next award is the Francine M. Delaney Alumni Award for Service to the Community. This award celebrates an alumni whose community service exemplifies the spirit of Frances Delaney, UNC Asheville's first African-American graduate and lifelong advocate for childhood education. This year, we are proud to honor Molly D. Mattis, class of '02, and Heather Brown, class of '03, with a joint award. Introducing them via video? Oh, he's trying to work some magic in the corner. Is Elizabeth Likens and Leila Duncan. Okay. The video's coming. In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, Molly and Heather demonstrated exceptional leadership and community service, mobilizing volunteers, coordinating suppliers, and spearheading fundraising efforts that delivered vital assistance to Western North Carolina residents in need. Their work reflects deep compassion and selflessness, and we celebrate them tonight. Please join me in congratulating Molly DeMattis and Heather Brown.
Hi, Heather and Molly. Congratulations! You are the recipient of the UNC Asheville Alumni Award for Community Service for 2026. The two of you have earned it with all of your unwavering support for not only UNC Asheville student body, but also the Asheville community and all surrounding areas.
When I think about Heather and Molly, I don't think about titles or accolades. One phrase comes to mind, and it's showing up. Heather and Molly have been showing up not only for this community, but for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, with their leadership, their expertise, their frivolity around Bowl for Kids' Sake. Heather served on our regional board for 3 terms and on the exec team.
The assistance you gave during Hurricane Helene was beyond impressive. I know you weren't doing it for the recognition, but please know it did not go unnoticed.
They didn't wait to be asked. They immediately ignited their networks, solicited donation and supplies, and made sure no families were left behind. With their help, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Western North Carolina was able to reach 3,200 families in a moment of crisis.
Again, congratulations. You have earned this and so much more. So happy for you.
Heather and Molly lead with integrity, with heart and action. And although they don't seek recognition, they certainly deserve it. And this award is a reflection of the powerful impact they've had on our community. Thank you so much.
Please welcome to the podium Molly and Heather.
Hey y'all, I just want to start with a little gratitude for the room, Chancellor, AD Cone. We are so grateful to all of our friends, professors, coaches, go track and field, let's go. And then so many wonderful friends and family that we've made. Particular thanks to our friends and family that joined us tonight. In particular, I want to honor my beautiful mother, Cecilia, who's joined us this evening. Who drove me up the mountain in 1997 to cross all fingers in hopes that I would get accepted to the track and field program. So thank you for starting this journey for me. And thank you to everyone for this amazing award and for being a part of that. And with that, I'm going to actually shut up for once, and Heather's going to talk.
I know, shocker. But as Molly said, we are so honored to have been selected for this award. Though Molly and I come from very different upbringings, we have been clear on what we have in common. Our love for the University of North Carolina at Asheville, our human obligation to help those in need, and our good fortune that our lives crossed here on campus. When Molly and I met here 26 years ago, we both had burgeoning ideas of what was right and what was wrong. We had been told, and sometimes we had even seen, how a community can come together. We understood the importance of standing up for others. But it was here, at UNC Asheville, where our moral compass found its true north. Here, we saw humanity and hope every day in our classrooms, and how our professors spoke about and participated in the world, and how our university placed value in volunteering through Bulldog Days of Service. When our time came, we walked away from this campus and into our adult lives, understanding that it was our responsibility to ourselves and to our neighbors to always do the best we can with what we have in the moment we're in. Molly and I have worked really hard. And we have been extremely fortunate to have built a life that enables us to work toward the greater good. But we remind ourselves that it's not just the big things that matter or make the difference. It's the millions of smiling hellos, the held doors, words of affirmation, a pause to really listen to someone. It's those things that change the world. So we thank you again for this honor, and we challenge each of you to go out into the world and do great and small things, because we know it's always the right time to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly and Heather. I would like to now welcome to the stage Kelly Pierce. Kelly serves as the chair of our awards committee and oversees the selection process for the Alumni Association. Kelly is a dedicated supporter of UNC Asheville and the local community, included as a longtime volunteer of Homeward Bound in Western North Carolina. Welcome to the stage, Kelly.
Thank you, Cindy. I would now like to welcome to this, I'm reading Cindy's part, I'm sorry. The light's right in my eyes. Our next award is the Mullen James Social Justice and Equity Impact Award. The award recognizes individuals or initiatives that have true commitment and dedication to systems change and equity work at the university and in the broader community. This year's honoree is Dr. Dan Pierce. Introducing them via video is Steve Tuttle and Ashley Whittle.
A lot has been written about the coming of the railroad to Western North Carolina in the 1880s and the impact this had on the history of the region. Prior to the work done by Dan Pierce and the Rail Project, little had been written about the men who did the dangerous work of building the railroad up the mountain from Old Fort to Swannanoa. This work was done by 3,000 prison laborers, more than 90% of whom were African American.
My name is Ashley McGee Whittle, and I'm the Director for Special Collections and the University Archivist at UNC Asheville. I went through the history program at UNC Asheville in my late 20s as a first-generation college student with a huge chip on my shoulder about my accent and upbringing in the hills and hollers of Appalachia. But what Dr. Pierce saw was promise, tenacity, and he met me where I was at that moment, and he nurtured the scholar he knew I could be. He helped me build this invaluable group of mentors and friends across UNC Asheville and beyond, and I owe much of my success to his belief in me. Most importantly, though, he helped me believe in myself as a woman Appalachian historian and archivist.
I admire the work that Dan did researching prison records, criminal court cases, and newspaper accounts to identify these men by name. So often the impact that people of color had on a region's history is overlooked.
My favorite memory is the two of us in his office talking about a reading we were doing or a hike or the weather or whatever it was at the time. We'd both get really animated to the point where we were yelling at each other almost. And usually one of the other history professors would stick their head in his office door and ask if we were okay, and we would just laugh.
Thanks to Dan's work, present and future generations can recognize the contributions and sacrifices these men made to bring the railroad to Western North Carolina.
I absolutely would not be where I am today, both professionally and personally, without Dr. Pierce's mentorship and belief in me, and I am honored to share my deep admiration for him today.
Dan Pierce is a retired UNC Asheville history professor and a passionate researcher whose work uncovers histories that shape our understanding of the present. His leadership in founding and chairing the Railroad Incarcerated Laborer Memorial Project honors the lives and contributions of thousands of incarcerated laborers who built the railroad up the mountain under unjust laws. His work fosters education, remembrance, and dignity for overlooked lives and narratives. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Dan Pierce.
Thank you so much. This is indeed an honor, and I don't know a group that I would rather receive this kind of recognition. So thank you so much. UNCA, you know, when you're in a place for almost 30 years, I guess it becomes an important part of your life. And, you know, I've told so many people how fortunate I've been in my life. I never expected this career trajectory, for sure. And there are so many people I need to thank. And first, you know, my experience here was enriched so much by my faculty colleagues. And I see a number of them here tonight, and just thank you so much. And I'm especially grateful to have been a part of the history department, which I often said was the most functional department in academia anywhere. And to have Ellen Pearson and Sarah Judson here with us tonight is indeed special for me. Also, the fact that this is coming from the Alumni Association, I had the privilege of being on the foundation board for a couple of terms and working with the Alumni Association with Michael and the rest of the staff, and getting to know alumni board members, and that was a special thing. And the fact that they represent the part of my UNC experience that was most rewarding and most special, and that was the students that I was able to teach over the years, and then to maintain relationships with many of those students to this day. Another thing that makes this really special is the fact that this award is named after Dean Charles James and Dolly and Dwight Mullen, who were, get choked up over these things, who are dear colleagues that I was able to share a number of experiences. That's one of the great things about being at UNCA, is that to a smaller campus where you can share experiences with members of other departments. And then I have to thank, this project, you know, I'm really good at, a lot of times, or at least I think I am, you know, at coming up with ideas for things. But then actually following through on those things is a different matter. And this project would never have happened without the support of, and the work and the hard work of our board members. And I'll actually didn't mention this in the video, but Ashley was one of our board members from the start. And she's from Old Fort. She has deep connections to the railroad in the area, and so she was an ideal person. She's did our website. And actually, just to give a plug, Thursday at noon, where's that going to be? 016 Whiteside. Ashley will be giving a talk about the rail project, and this is related to an article she's doing for the North Carolina Historical Review. I should also say, in terms of the board, the presence of UNCA folks other than Ashley, Darren Waters and Eric Boyce were on our original board, and they added so much to that process. But again, I'm so appreciative for what they did. And then I can't say enough about the support that I've had for 43 years from my wife Lydia, who doesn't make fun of my crackpot ideas at times, and probably too often encourages me to move forward on those. And then I have to thank my mother, who is here, Archie Pierce. She's kind of one of those people that, are known. All you have to do, you can ask Roger Aiken about this, is just say Archie. It's kind of like Elvis or, Cher or something like that, She turned 100 back in November. But in relation, I was really privileged to grow up with her and my dad, but my mom especially. My mom grew up in rural South Mississippi, and I kid you not, to this day, the county where she grew up is Jefferson Davis County. She grew up at the height of Jim Crow and saw a lot growing up, a lot of injustice. But at some point, my mother, and I wish a lot more people would do this, took the words of Jesus seriously. And particularly those words about ministering and reaching out to the least of these. And so I grew up in that kind of household that literally, because my dad was a preacher, preached that. And not only preached it, but lived it. My mom was a special education teacher in Nashville City Schools. She was one of the founders of the Special Olympics in this area, and just showed me so much along the way, so I owe so much to her. Just real briefly, there's really good information in your program about the rail project, but just to tell you a little bit about it. This began in July of 2020, and some of us, it was very much a response to the murder of George Floyd, and a feeling that we needed to, a feeling and a frustration. We need to do something, And then it's one of those things where this happened far away. What difference can I make? What can I do? And I thought of two things. One of the things I learned actually in the humanities program here when I was first teaching, we read Voltaire, Candide. And that book, which I highly recommend, is really funny. But you get to the end after this whole everything horrible that could happen, and Voltaire is talking. Merritt could probably correct me on this, but his final words basically, they're just lamenting. What do we do? What can we do with this tragic life? And he said, we tend our garden. And so I thought about, okay, where's my garden? And the other thing I thought about was, what do I have to offer? And in that I thought of Moses, where Moses stood before God, and God was saying, go lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. And Moses said, you got the wrong guy. He said, I don't have anything that would equip me to do that. And God said to Moses, what's that you have in your hand? And he had a staff. He was a shepherd. And so I thought about, okay, well, what do I have in my hand? Well, my son's a carpenter, and as I put it, he's the only one in the family that has any useful skills. But I thought, okay, well, I'm a historian. Okay, how does that fit? But I live at Ridgecrest, and Lydia and I are up and down the railroad line all the time. And there's actually Asheville Biltmore College, UNCA alum who first informed me by the name of Wilma Dykeman, where I first learned about what building that railroad meant. There's no public, at the time there was no public acknowledgement of the people other than one little line on a state historical marker over the Swannanoa Tunnel, and it says built by convicts. That's it. There was some historical work, but no public recognition. So we set out as a group, this incredible board, to do something about that. So we had a goal to build a memorial to these individuals, and there were women involved in this too, who built the railroad up the mountain, which really made Asheville. And so we were pretty amazed about how quickly this we got permission from the town of Old Fort. We raised money much faster than we ever expected we could. And then we built a memorial which we dedicated in 2021 and thought we were done. Then we learned some stuff about ground penetrating radar and human remains detection dogs. These were not historical tools that I learned anything about in graduate school, but we were able to discover pretty conclusively, I think, some sites of some mass graves. And so we thought, well, we can't just leave it at that. So we bought a 2-ton boulder and put a plaque on it and to honor those who died. There were at least 139 individuals who died in the construction of that railroad. And then we thought it was important to give some information in that area. And so we put up 3 historical panels in the Swannanoa Gap right at Ridgecrest, which give an interpretation and some information about what happened there. And then, we quit building things, but we continue our educational mission with our website. Actually, it's therailproject.org. I would encourage you to check that out to get more information. And then our educational mission to continue research. Ashley's done some incredible research at the State Archives on this, and to give talks. I gave a talk yesterday to the Land of the Sky Regional Council, and to do tours. And I would just say, if you'd like to know more, if you have a group that you think that would be something that they would be interested, we are always up for those types of things. So I'm just dpierce at unca.edu still, and but just let me know. But I talked too long, but I do want to end with this. I think it was 2023. I think our MLK speaker was Clint Smith, and I got to be acquainted with him, and I discovered in December 2022 he wrote an article in the Atlantic about his experience in visiting Holocaust sites in Germany. He had also done a lot of stuff on memorials to enslaved people, African Americans in general. I really highly recommend his work. But he had this quote, and I'm going to conclude with this, in this article called Monuments to the Unthinkable. And he said this, and this is actually on our memorial boulder: "No stone in the ground can make up for a life. No museum can bring back millions of people. It cannot be done. And yet, we must try to honor those lives and to account for this history as best we can." That is the very act. It is the very act of attempting to remember that becomes the most powerful memorial of all. So, go to exit 66. You can go up either side on Frontage Road, and you can see our memorials there, and stop and reflect on the sacrifice of so many to really make this place. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We would next like to recognize a very special honoree, a member of our faculty whose influence spans classrooms, campuses, and communities. The award is the Alumni Distinguished Faculty Award, presented annually to a faculty member whose service to students goes above and beyond the call of duty. This year's recipient is Dr. Thais M. Ruffin. Introducing them in the video is Miracle. Introducing them in this video is Miracle Okoro and Demon Thomas.
Hey, Dr. Ruffin, I just wanted to wish you a huge congratulations for winning the Distinguished Faculty Award. Thank you so much for all the ways that you pushed us when we were under, your care in school, and the ways that you continue to push us now that we're out in the big wild world.
Greetings. First, I'd like to say congratulations to my profound professor, Dr. Thais Ruffin. This award is long overdue. Being a scholar of yours remains a true privilege. From your national work with the American Association of State Colleges and Universities to your grassroots efforts with students across Asheville and Buncombe County, you exemplify excellence, commitment, and service. Dr. Ruffin, you are a true definition of a cultural competent leader and a bridge builder for first-generation college students just like myself.
Thank you for teaching us that we need to have a culture of excellence, and everywhere that we are, we need to be planted and rooted in excellence, regardless of what we have going on, regardless of how we feel about the environment. You have always expected the best out of us while also teaching us how to care for ourselves, and always teaching us how to advocate for ourselves, and reminding us that self-care comes first, but excellent is a very close second.
Your teachings on America's lawful and systematic harm in denying African Americans access to education must not go unnoticed. You have shown me that being self-taught means refusing to accept the limitations placed upon us and recognizing that we possess the knowledge to liberate ourselves and others.
Thank you for the woman that you are. Thank you for your mentorship. Thank you for your tutelage. I just want you to know that you absolutely deserve all the flowers and all the accolades. I appreciate you. I love you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you for your service, your leadership, and your unwavering dedication. One love, Dr. Ruffin.
Dr. Ruffin has spent over a decade at UNC Asheville, deeply committed to supporting students and empowering them to grow into thoughtful, engaged alumni and leaders. Her dedication doesn't stop at the classroom door. She stays connected to her students long after graduation, mentoring, encouraging, and championing their continued success. A U.S. Fulbright Scholar, Dr. Ruffin serves as Professor of Africana Studies and Education and has been instrumental in shaping culturally responsive educational practices that center equity, inclusion, and opportunity for all learners. Her passion for student success, her ongoing mentorship, and her unwavering advocacy reflect the very best of our university's mission and values. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Thais Ruffin.
Wow. Good evening, and thank you to Chancellor Van Noort, members of the UNC Asheville Alumni Association Selection Committee, alumni, family, friends, and colleagues. I'm truly honored to receive the UNC Asheville Alumni Distinguished Faculty Award. I accept this with honor and deep gratitude, with a renewed commitment to continue building relationships that endure. I'm trying to stop myself from crying because the relationships that I've had with students over 16 years has been unimaginable. And just hearing Demon and Miracle's testimonials have just filled my heart with so much joy. I truly believe that relationships that prepare thoughtful, engaged alumni to serve their communities with courage, competence, and compassion has been my mission and my purpose. I also express gratitude because none of us reached this point alone. Every single affirmation and success is intertwined with the dedication and investment of others. So tonight, I stand not as a singular recipient of recognition, but as a reflection of a community that believes in education as transformation, that believes in it as relationships being the foundation of learning, and in service as both a calling and a responsibility. Being a faculty member is sacred to me. So when former students, choose to reach back and say, "You matter," it affirms to me that education is not transactional. It is transformational. And that's what we seek to do here as faculty at UNC Asheville. It affirms that relationships forged in classrooms, advising meetings, community partnerships, and the like continue long after diplomas are conferred. It affirms that faculty are not simply instructors of content, but we are witnesses to growth, partners in purpose, and steady presence in the students' journeys. So again, tonight, I do not stand alone. I stand in community. Also, as I continue to share thanks and gratitude, I give a heartfelt thanks to the alumni of the Teacher Licensure and Africana Studies programs for their nominations. This is my third university, but it is my first liberal arts institution, North Carolina's designated liberal arts and sciences institution. I didn't know before UNC Asheville that I would value the relationships that would form through small class sizes, through knowing every single one on my roster, being able to see students at events and in the residence halls and all around campus and in community on the weekend. I go to the Ingalls, there's a student. I go to Harris Teeter, there's a student. Prior to UNC Asheville, I had been at larger universities. But I have learned, and I've deeply valued my time here, this is my 16th year, that the relationships formed through shared learning, mentorship, and trust between students and faculty, these are things that are nurtured early on, they flourish during the university years, and they continue long after graduation. I guess before UNC Asheville, I never thought that I would hear that Demon is in graduate school and pursuing his master's in social work, that he would come to Asheville and say, "Dr. Ruffin, let's have lunch." Or, "I'm applying to be a guardian at Lightem. Can you complete a recommendation for me?" Or to see Miracle and hear that you brought your first home in Asheville, proud homeowner. And so that's what it has been here for me. It has been an honor and a privilege. Did y'all hear that? An honor and a privilege to mentor, advise, support, and I must say, walk alongside alumni as they develop into educators, advocates, professionals, and community leaders committed to serving the public good. Being recognized by alumni is profoundly meaningful to me. Thank you for this extraordinary affirmation. I was deeply moved by the alumni nominations when Michael reached out to me and he said, well, I could at least name these 3 people. And I could proudly say that one of the nominees, Demon, President of Student Government Association 21-22, Miracle, Vice President, Student Government Association 22-23, and Ariel Jacobson, who said, Dr. Ruffin, I could come in from New York City, but Vice President of 21-22. These were all Africana Study students. They shared their experiences regarding the work that we accomplished together. Remember, I do not stand alone. They described the work we accomplished together in the classroom and the community, as well as the connections that helped launch their careers in graduate studies. Some of them even mentioned how I kept them engaged with the institution long after graduation. For instance, last year, the Black Student Association organized and led donning of the stole ceremony in light of anti-DEI policies and rules from the UNC system. We no longer had an intercultural affairs office. I reached out to some of our alumni from various racial, ethnic, cultural, and linguistic backgrounds and said, you know what? Our current students need support with donning of the stole ceremony. Will you all come? Alumni drove from 10 miles to over 240 miles here to UNC Asheville for free, to say, we want to serve our proud alma mater and work with current students, and they served as keynote speakers, poets, and closing speakers at a significant rite of passage for multicultural students. Thank you. This reflects of what I know of Bulldog alum dedicated to lifelong connection and support of UNC Asheville. As a faculty member here, I've also come to believe deeply that being a faculty member is never limited to creating and delivering the curriculum or the office hours, and most of this is relational and developmental, as I said before, and this is sacred. I'm so excited that I've been able to walk along these students not as their professor, but I can now say as a mentor, advisor, and a consistent point of support. And I will add, even an advocate at times. I believe these relationships, again, are nurtured intentionally and they're able to blossom. So now, as my friends and co-conspirators in the work of Justice for All, the beloved community for our world and for all of humanity to thrive, thank you again for knowing that our work together is something enduring. It is not fly by night. It is not limited to a single semester. This is the greatest honor of all. What sustains me the most as a faculty member is all the emails, calls, visits, and LinkedIn posts from alumni students who say, you're still mentoring me. You've helped me believe I could do this. I want to give back to the way that you modeled for us. Thank you, thank you. In my last few moments of gratitude before I close with advocacy, I'd also like to thank my colleagues. Thank you for your partnership and shared commitment to our students. Now, as the chair of the Department of Education here, I am the most senior member in the department, but I'm grateful to my colleagues who are also UNC Asheville alum, Dr. Kimberly Nava-Eggett and Dr. Megan Kaiser, who are alum of the teacher licensure program at UNC Asheville, who walk alongside me now in this journey as I have witnessed over 16 years my other colleagues resign, retire, or leave the university for various reasons. Thank you, colleagues, for your support. To my family, first, to my mother, who flew in from Washington, D.C. on a direct flight from DCA to Asheville. Thank you for molding me into who I am. You are the daughter of a sharecropper from Orange County, North Carolina, who grew up in the shadows of UNC Chapel Hill. But you taught me that I could be anything I wanted to be, and I'm happy that I stand here as a full professor, tenured at a University of North Carolina, System University. You said I could be anything that I wanted to be, and that as a first-generation college student, Mom, I strive to be just that. Thank you. To my sons who are here tonight, who finished class at 3 o'clock in Greensboro and got here at 6:15, who are studying economics and electrical engineering, thanks for all you've done to support me and the way that you have shared me throughout the years. When it's like, oh, okay, I'm meeting this student or somebody's coming to our house and you're like, what student is this now? What alumni is this? Is the Black Student Association in our entire living room tonight? What's going on? And now that you all are college students, I hope you see that through my own life and my own role modeling for you is that we're never to be self-absorbed. We're always to be servant leaders, giving ourselves for all of humanity to thrive. And lastly, to my partner in absence, Dr. Eja Boachi-Boaten, who is not here. When I looked on the program, it looks like in 2022, he was the last person to receive this award. So, hey, I am receiving this in 2026 after my spouse. Thank you in your absence for all of your support. As I said, I shared a lot of gratitude tonight because it is important to give thanks, but I will close tonight with advocacy. Advocacy is not opposition, it is care made visible. It is love expressed through action. It is believing that something matters enough to protect it, strengthen it, and grow. And Africana Studies matters. The majority of students who nominated me, as I shared, were Africana Studies students. They were minors and course takers whose intellectual courage and commitment to justice continue to inspire me. I served as the Director of Africana Studies from July 2019 to June 2024, and it was one of the greatest honors of my career. As we approach 2 years since that directorship concluded, there is no director in place. I feel a responsibility to speak frankly. Africana Studies stands at a critical juncture here at UNC Asheville. Since 2024, the program has operated without a dedicated director. Moja, our interdisciplinary open access journal that published 3 consecutive issues featuring scholars from across the United States and the African continent, has been suspended. And we have lost several dedicated faculty members, and we currently only have 2 jointly appointed faculty members, a history professor, Sarah Judson, Dr. Sarah Judson, who is here tonight, and myself. This is a moment not for quiet contraction. This is a moment for renewed commitment. Let us invest in sustained leadership. Let us restore what has been paused. Let us ensure that Africana Studies continues to flourish for our students in our university and for the public good. So I ask all of us collectively to invest, to lead, and to ensure that this program continues to thrive for the students who are ready, eager, and deserving of its transformative power. Thank you so much. Congratulations to other award winners. Happy Black History, Legacy, and Futures Month. And go Bulldogs.
Thank you, Dr. Ruffin, for your comments. Finally, we'd like to end our wonderful evening with the Roy A. Taylor Distinguished Alumnus of the Year Award. This is the highest award given by the Alumni Association, and this year's honoree is Co Barrett, class of 1994. Introducing them in a video are Steve Tuttle and Michael McNamee.
Co Barrett is a wonderful example of how a liberal arts and sciences education from UNC Asheville prepares a student for a career as an international leader and problem solver.
I'd like to say a huge congratulations to Co Barrett, class of 94, for winning our Alum of the Year award. It is a fantastic honor, and she is very well deserving.
Co was a non-traditional student who graduated in 1994 with a degree in environmental studies. Through her work as senior climate advisor at NOAA, her work with the United Nations Government Panel on Climate Change, and her work as Deputy Secretary General for the World Meteorological Organization, Co has devoted her professional life to addressing one of the most challenging problems faced by the world today: climate change. Her work was recognized in 2007 when Co shared a Nobel Peace Prize with other members of the UN Government Panel on Climate Change.
I think what stands out to me most about Co is that in addition to her huge amount of accolades and a Nobel Prize and all this great work she's doing out in her profession, she also has given back to her university in so many great ways. And I've had the pleasure to work with her on the Alumni Board of Directors, and I'm just so appreciative of her service, her time meeting with students, lighting the path for others, and also showing that UNCA creates leaders that can solve real-world problems.
While doing this important work on the international stage, Co has maintained her local ties to UNCA by serving on the Alumni Association Board of Directors and by being the commencement speaker for the class of 2017. Co is a shining example of the best that UNC Asheville has to offer the world.
Congratulations to Co.
Co Barrett is widely recognized as one of the world's leading experts on climate policy, especially regarding climate impacts and strategies for societal adaptation. She currently serves as Deputy Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization and previously served as Senior Advisor for Climate at the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, where she helped align and extend climate services nationally and internationally. Her leadership and service have shaped global climate negotiation efforts and strengthened climate science policy. Please join me in congratulating Co Barrett.
Well, wow, what a nice introduction. And can I just maybe ask us all to just appreciate the amazing videos and testimonies that have been put together for all of the awardees, because they are really remarkable. It's so nice to just get a personal flavor for all the amazing awardees, and I'm very humbled to stand here among you, where your passion and your service and your values are just so clearly on display. Okay, so when I walked across the stage in 1994 with my degree in environmental studies, I had no idea that 3 decades later I'd be standing here again, this time not as a nervous graduate, but as someone who is profoundly grateful for what this institution has given me. I want to, though, start by acknowledging 2 very special people in this room with me tonight. My daughter, Ellie, a 2014 UNC Asheville graduate, and her husband, Seth, a 2024 UNC Asheville graduate. They are proof that my love for this institution is not merely personal, it is apparently contagious. Now, if you do the math, 1994, 2014, 2024, you may notice a pattern. Every one of us graduated in a year ending in a 4. We're apparently on a very specific 10-year cycle. So I'm putting the world on notice. I expect my not yet conceived grandchild to walk across the stage in 2044. We're building a dynasty here. No pressure. There's a reason that we keep coming back to this place. What UNC Asheville gave me in 1994 turns out to be exactly what the world needs in 2026. I work today with the United Nations system at a moment of genuine turbulence, unprecedented complexity, shifting alliances, climate crisis, technological disruption, and fundamental questions about how we organize ourselves as a global community. The challenges are technical, yes, but the essential work is profoundly human. It requires a broad understanding of history, of culture, of ethics. And this is really where UNC Asheville gave me something irreplaceable. This university's liberal art focus didn't just teach me what to think, it taught me how to think. Literature, art, philosophy were not treated here as decorative flourishes on a practical education. They were the foundation, they were the point. So now when I sit
in intergovernmental meetings, setting priorities for the future of weather and climate forecasting and life-saving early warning systems. I'm not just drawing on scientific information, I'm drawing on insights from studying the rise and fall of civilizations and grappling with ethical frameworks that have been tested across centuries. The questions we face at the UN are ancient questions with new urgency. How do we balance national sovereignty with collective action? How do we distribute limited resources justly? How do we bridge cultures and find common ground across profound differences? So I came here this week from my home in Geneva, Switzerland, a city where you feel the weight of history at every turn. It's the city of the Red Cross, born from the conscience of one man who witnessed the carnage of war and decided the world could do better. It's the city where the League of Nations dared to imagine, after the First World War, that nations might choose negotiation over annihilation. It's where human rights were codified, where labor standards were set, where the architecture of international cooperation was brick by brick constructed. Geneva has always been the city the world turns to, even this week, when it chooses, however reluctantly, dialogue over division. That city is under pressure today. The institutions housed there are under pressure today. Multilateralism is under pressure. And I will be honest with you, the work sometimes feels very heavy. But I haven't lost faith, and a significant reason for that, more than you might expect, traces back to this campus, to these mountains, and to the education that I received here. I've been really lucky in my career. I'm proud to serve the United Nations at this moment, which is a consequential moment for this planet. And I'm proud to work on climate for most of my career, even though it may not be in favor at every moment. And I'm proud to live in Geneva and fight for the idea that nations can still choose cooperation over conflict. But tonight, I'm most proud to be an alumnus of this university. I'm more convinced than ever that UNC Asheville's model of education, one that believes a complete education means more than career preparation, is precisely what our fractured, complicated, rapidly changing world needs most. So thank you for this honor. I'm humbled to be among the other award winners, but thank you mostly for what you do, and go Bulldogs.
All right, what an incredible night. I just appreciate y'all, and I'm so grateful to be in the presence of so many wonderful people in this room. Before we go, I just want to say a special thank you to the people that made this this night possible. First off, our catering staff. Thank y'all so much for some wonderful food and drinks. And to our media team and Ken and Danny, thank y'all so much for capturing this event. We really appreciate y'all doing that. And also to our event planners, Kenya and Donna. Is Donna still here? They did a great job. Thank y'all. I encourage y'all to stick around tomorrow for a fantastic homecoming celebration, including doubleheader basketball games, some wonderful service projects, and even our 50th year reunion for the class of 1976. It's going to be a fantastic occasion, and we encourage you to do that. I'd also like our awardees to begin making their way up to the stage. We're going to get a group photo, and Janet and the Chancellor, we can do that. But as they come up, can we give one more round of applause for a wonderful night and some wonderful people?